Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day so far. I'm still out of commission for a little while longer. Today's Sunday. I was just going through some videos and there's a video I came across. It's of a timing chain cover that I had to take off of a Ford Bronco in 1996. It's a 5-liter 302 and one of the bolts was seized going through the water pump and through the timing cover into the block. And I show you how to get it out without breaking anything. Luckily for me, the bolt wasn't toothpicked down or necked down, whatever you want to call it, from rust. So I was able to get it out by heating up the timing cover. But yeah, going through that repair, basically where I left off on the video is pretty much where I left off. The truck is still sitting there. I'm probably going to be doing a timing chain on it. And what I'll do is I'll make another video and show you the rest of what I have going on. But I figure at least this way you can see what I was in the middle of pretty much by the time I had to step away for a week now. But anyway, so I hope you get something out of that video. I'll chime back in at the end and we'll go from there. All right, so here's that video. Enjoy. Hey, good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. So what do I got now? I've got an older Ford Bronco. What year is this thing? A 96. And the timing chain cover, it's a 302, 5-liter. The timing chain cover to the block is leaking. Let me show you what I got. Leaking coolant. If you look down here, see that incredible buildup of crud right there? This is the timing chain cover. That's the block. That's the water pump. Now, as some of you know, some of you may not know, a lot of the bolts, or at least 4 of them I think, yeah, it's 4, go through the water pump and then through that housing. The problem is they seize up inside this housing. It's an aluminum housing. Coolant does seep in there over time. Even if it gets moisture in there, the steel bolt in the aluminum housing creates corrosion and a lot of times won't break free. So I got one bolt that will not come free. This one here. That ain't coming free. So what do? I don't want to break it. The last thing I want to do is break it. I mean, of course, once you break it, you can get it out. If they do break, what you can do is you take an air chisel, because if they break, more than likely you're going to be putting a cover on it anyway. You can take an air chisel and you can break this piece of housing here. Just run the air chisel on it and just break it out, and then this way you can get the housing off. If you're in a situation where you don't want to take the house, or you don't want to replace the housing, or you can't replace the housing for whatever reason, we're replacing the housing on this, or cover I should say, because many times, often, when you see it leaking to that point, it gets to that point, you get all this corrosion and stuff, the cover's pitted. You may as well put a new one on at that point. The parts store actually keeps them in stock. That's how common this failure is. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to heat this up. But if you're in a situation where you can't break the housing, you don't want to break the housing, whatever, like say you got a numbers matching older Ford where you want to keep everything original, put a torch on this thing, heat this thing up. So what I'm going to do is, instead of getting out the oxyacetylene, I'm going to go grab my MAPP gas. Hang on one second, I'm going to grab that. Now, I've spoken about this before. This is MAPP gas. The yellow tank is much hotter. This is the MAPP gas. The blue tank, which is just propane, you'll never get it hot enough. So this, what you do is you hold this on there, and just at the tip where, see where that line is right there? I'm going to use that as a reference point. If you get this, basically to that point, you're at its hottest point. You don't want to sit there and bury it down in here. You're not at the hottest point. Here you're at the hottest point. So basically I'm going to hold that on there. I'm going to move that wire out of the way so I don't burn it. I'm going to hold it on there like that, get it hot, and then try to get the bolt out. I'm not going to show you that whole thing, but once I get it hot, then I'm going to start to show you again. But let me move that wire out of the way, and then let me get that heated up, and then let's see if it'll come out. So basically, I'm just going to keep doing this, and I'll get this thing nice and hot, and I'm going to try to gun. Now you got to be careful. See where the flame is coming up close to the distributor? You want to watch stuff like that, because you want to make sure you're not melting something that you shouldn't be getting hot. You want to make sure you don't catch something on fire. Let me keep going with this. Let me get this thing hot, and then we're going to try to take the bolt out. Okay, so I've had this on there for several minutes. So now, let's do this. Let's take the torch off. Sorry about that. And where'd I put my gun? Oh, it's right here. You can actually hear the metal, the aluminum creaking. Now, obviously, that's going to be hot as all get out. But you can see the bolt itself is all rusty. A lot of times these things will toothpick down. So now at least that thing came out. So I could set this thing off to the side, like hence the floor. Don't have to worry about it. Then I left one bolt in on this side. All the other ones came out with no issue, but somebody has replaced this water pump. But see that? See how all the junk is on there? That's all the buildup of corrosion and stuff. So now, pump should come right off. All right, so now there's the cover. So next step is I have to pull the harmonic balancer off to get the cover off. Like I said, I'm just replacing the cover. At this point, you may as well. To me, it's not even worth it, because I can pretty much guarantee it's going to have pits in it. Let me actually get it off, and then let's see if it does have pits. Because I mean, if it doesn't, then I'm not going to put it on, but I'm pretty confident it's going to have pits. But let's find out. I could be wrong. All right, so I got part of it cleaned up here. On the outside, you can see where somebody had gouged it a bit from when they did a water pump. But on this side, it's actually better than I anticipated. You can see some of the pitting. It's almost making a bridge going across there, which will add to a leak. But I mean, everything looks okay. I'm going to clean the rest of this up, and then let's take a look. I may wind up reusing this. Well, let's see. And then we got it all cleaned off. If you look really close, you can actually see all the gouge marks from when somebody changed the water pump on this thing at one point. And I mean, it's all over the place. I mean, I don't know what in the world they were doing, if they were using a hammer and chisel to get the old gasket off, but geez. But actually, I'll clean this up some more. I'm using a Scotch-Brite Whizzy wheel, and I'm gonna clean it up some more, get it down. But it's actually in better shape than I really thought it was gonna be in. I thought this thing was gonna be really pitted bad. I mean, you can see the pits pretty good there, but I'm actually not concerned about those. So I'm gonna clean this thing up better, and I'm gonna reuse this cover. I really don't see any reason why I can't. One thing I'm gonna do too is, if you look inside the holes here, you can see it looks like a clogged artery. See that? So I'm going to basically find a drill bit that's going to fit in the hole, and I'm going to run the drill bit through there to clean up all that buildup of goo and crud and corrosion and everything else. Clean it all up without taking any of the metal off the actual cover. I mean, you're going to get a little bit, but so I'm going to run that through. Usually I do it just by hand. I take the drill bit and I just use it like a file, and a sharp drill bit will cut all that stuff out of there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to, since I'm not going to do a cover, I'm going to see, maybe they want to do a timing chain, because check this out. That's got quite a bit of slop in it. But now this one does not have a fiber cam gear. Some of the earlier ones had a fiber cam gear. This one does not. This is like the equivalent of a double roller. But anyway, so at least in thickness wise, the older ones, they were pretty thin. So I think I'm going to go that route. If I wind up having to change the timing chain, I'll just show you that. It's pretty simple at this point. So let's get going with that and see what happens. Let me see what they want to do. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, when I get back into work, we're going to be more than likely doing the timing chain and putting the rest of that back together. And I will show you that. I'll show you how I clean up the bolt holes and stuff like that, and how I set the cover back on and whatnot. I'll discuss all of that at that point. Plus, I'm going to clean up all the bolts and everything else. But the truck is still sitting there on the lift. It's been just about a week now. Hopefully tomorrow, after my doctor's appointment, I can go back to work. So let's see. Right now, Gigi, she's just, hey, baby. She's keeping me company. So anyway, that's about it. Hopefully you got something out of that video. If you did, hit that like button. If you could, please subscribe. All right, guys, have a great day. Keep wrenching.